Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night, ma'am. In this time, we will explain about anti-corruption strategies, global best practice. Next. Okay, this is our group. The first one is Safir Salwa, and then Muhammad Rifan Olivasya, Muhammad Hisham Ramadan, and then the last one is Suhenti. Okay, now we will explain about general concept that will be explained by Safir Salwa.
Okay, first, general concept, a collection of initiatives meant to stop and deter corrupt behavior in both the public and private spheres are referred to as anti-corruption strategies. Law enforcement, preventative actions, and integrity building or educating programs are typically combined in these tactics. Through digitalization, several nations have also embraced e-governance, which lessens direct communication between the people and government's representative. This system is easier to use, more transparent, and more challenging to tamper with. The literature on governance has a lot to say about this general concept. For instance, 2013 contends that anti-corruption tactics works best when they are tailored to particular issues rather than being used in a broad or symbolic manner.
Okay, and then I will explain about the definition. The first one, corruption. Corruption basically is when someone in power use their position to gain personal benefits instead of service the public. And then Meng UPPD, it says that corruption happens when public decision depends more on personal connection, favoritism, and informal networks than on official rules. It's not only about bribery, it's about a system where who you know matters more than a fairness. And then anti-corruption, politicized and institutional, intended to reduce corruption and advance systematic justice, are known as anti-corruption tactics. Effective tactics, who explained by Mungyu PPD, is address deeper structural issue like weak institution, low transparency, and then unequal resource allocation, rather than only punishing corrupt people. The next one is prevention. Prevention corruption entails establishing a circumstance that make it more challenging, dangerous, and unnecessary. According to Mungyu PPD, prevention encompasses things like transparent procedures, digital service, and public monitoring, and then limiting official needless distraction. And the last one is enforcement. The legal aspect is enforcement, which includes investigation, prosecutions, and penalties for corrupt behavior. Back to Mungyu PPD, asserts that enforcement only function when the organization is carrying out are autonomous and free from political influence. Corruption won't be eradicated if law enforcement is good. Next.
Case study KPK 2000 up to 2015, targeting big fish corruption. Between 2000 up to 2015, Indonesia Corruption Eradication Commission was widely recognized for facing on high-level corruption cases, often referred to as big fish cases. These cases involved senior government officials, members of parliament, regional leaders, and even law and enforcement officers. To SPIN, State Treasury and Budget System. SPIN represents a preventive approach to corruption through the use of digital system in public financial management. The system integrates budget planning, budget execution, and financial reporting into an unified platform. By using SPIN, government financial transactions become more transparent and traceable. This reduces opportunities for budget manipulation and makes irregulation easier to detect. This case highlights how digital governance can reduce corruption risk with relying solely on strict law enforcement measures. 3. LPSE and procurement. LPSA and the procurement system were introduced to address corruption risks in government procurement, a sector that is highly vulnerable to bribery and collusion. Through only procurement, the tender process becomes more transparent, competitive, and fair. Direct interaction between government official and supplier is minimized, which helps reduce opportunity for bribery and formality. This case demonstrates how technology and transparency can play a crucial role in preventing corruption. Next.
Okay, anti-corruption agencies. Point one, corruption eradication commission, or we say KPK. The KPK was established as an independent institution to address the weakness of conventional law enforcement in handling corruption. Its role includes prevention, investigation, prosecution, and public education. According to Wijayanto, 2021, the KPK independence is crucial to ensure it operates without political interference and can improve governance system to prevent corruption. Point two, police. The police play an important role in the early stage of corruption case, especially investigation and inquiry. Lidgar 2001 notes the effective law enforcement weak police capacity can reduce accountability and weaken anti-corruption efforts. Point two, prosecution service. The prosecution service is responsible for bringing corruption cases to court, acting as a link between investigators and judges. Prosecution play a key role in ensuring accountability, as stated by Klitger 2001. Firm and consistent prosecution create a strong deterrent effect. Point two, judiciary. The judiciary determines guilt on innocence through court decision. An independent and corruption-free judiciary is essential for legal certainty and justice. Klitger 2001 emphasizes the fair and transparent rulings help maintain public trust in the legal system. Point five, Supreme Audit Institution, or we say BPK and BPKP. Institutions such BPK and BPKP mainly contribute through prevention by conducting financial audits and supervision. Wijayanto 2021 explains the audit findings help close loopholes and public finance and often support corruption investigation. Point six, civil society and media. Civil society organization and the media strengthen anti-corruption efforts through public oversight. According to Klitger 2001, civic participation and press freedom enhance accountability by monitoring policies, exposing corruption, and promoting integrity values. Okay, next.
So the last one is conclusion. Promoting transparent and responsible governance requires anti-corruption tactics. effective anti-corruption initiatives typically mix law enforcement, preventative, and integrity building strategies. As this information demonstrates, public trust in strengthened and a deterrent effect is created by strong enforcement such as the KPK's efforts against significant corruption case. Uh, Preventive strategies like SPAN and LPSE or e-procurement, on the other hand, demonstrate how digital technologies can lessen potential for corruption by boosting transparency and reducing direct communication between public servants and the general public. Government procedures are more difficult to tamper with and easier to monitor thanks to these tools. The assumption that in anti-corruption tactics are most effective when they are integrated and problem-oriented rather than symbolic or isolate is generally supported by this discussion. Governments may create more successful and long-lasting anti-corruption initiatives by combining enforcement, systemic reform, and public involvement. Thank you.
Okay, that's all from us. Thank you, ma'am. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.